Research now. Research, this is one of my favorite topics that a lot of people, especially our generation, don't do a lot of. And when I say research, I mean like finding, when you're creating your brand, finding a lane that nobody is in, finding a market that no one is in is gonna be your best bet when building your brand. 2 years ago, nobody, I repeat, nobody was making a trucker hat, nothing. If anybody can prove me wrong, besides, and when I say 2 years ago, I mean like it wasn't a popular thing as it is now. Of course we had back in the day your Von Dutch and your Ed Hardy, but guess what though? That's where research come in. With fashion, one thing I learned in school, everything recirculates about 10 to 20 years. So when you think about Ed Hardy, Von Dutch, that was about almost 10, 20 years almost, right? That's because I did that research on, okay, this finna come back. You know what I'm saying? This finna come back. Let me, it's almost like, what's that, a weather almanac, where it's like you can kind of predict what the future's gonna, what the weather's gonna be in the future. One thing I learned in school, history of costume was one of my favorite classes, because if you just look, if you research, if you go in history and look at what people were wearing, what was popular, you can 9 times out of 10 predict what's about to happen next in fashion. It's a little weird now because we have social media and no one doesn't really have a mind anymore. We're kind of like in a world of clones a little bit, like it's like the Attack of the Clones a little bit, because it's like everyone's wearing like the Dior mannequin and it's like, why? You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to do that, right? But that research is what's going to it's going to give you everything, right? So back to research, that my first brand I told you about, Antique Society, right? I came out with these t-shirts, but I called them tunics, right? If you know what a tunic is, that's the first t-shirt in Egypt. In ancient Egypt, that's what they wore around. It's called a tunic, right? And the shirt had certain like designs like ankhs and stars and like certain moons like that. And there was a certain symbolism, and I like to call it like almost like a sacred geometry, almost like what the tattoo on my head or whatnot, of codes of not only just positive energy but just good energy on whoever wears this, whoever is around. And once again, that's just doing research on, I was that kid growing up that I took apart all my toys because I wanted to see how did they put this together. So it's like anytime there's something that like super, like just like really gives me that feeling, I'm gonna figure out like what is this about, and it's like hieroglyphs and ancient like Egyptian artwork or something I'm super inspired by. And so with that first brand, I did that research of, once again, a tunic. I realized, okay, it's a lot of like graphic t-shirts right now. Cool, ain't nobody did this like this where it's like a little bit longer and it's almost like a costume. Cool, we're gonna do a tunic. That was like that first taste of, okay, I know how to make a product. Boom. Fast forward, no, there was a lot, but fast forward back to, like I said, that trucker hat, just doing my research, and I have to put so COVID, it's not, that's why I'm kind of like stuttering right now. It's not the best subject to talk about or bring up, but when I tell you I truly took advantage of just that time of sitting in the house and researching, understanding that Ralph Lauren didn't start with a polo. He started with selling ties out of the back of his car. You know what I'm saying? Like understanding that, Tupac, like a lot of the Carl Kanai stuff that he did, he actually told Carl Kanai, you like, man, we black, we brothers, man. I don't want to charge you for wearing none of this. Just send me stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like understanding those values and pretty much kind of, just understanding like, you got to really research who's your favorite brand? Like, what are the brands that you like? And from that point, let that be your fashion mentor. One of my favorite brands is Mason Margiela. I have a epiphany and a strong daydream that I'm going to be the creative director for them for in year 2025. I don't know, it's a dream that I keep happening, but that was the one brand that when I was in school, I did my exit kind of like review on or whatnot, where we literally had to go to like a whole bunch of Goodwills around the city and grab pieces and figure out how to make them into modern day time. And if you look at some of like Margiela pieces, it's a lot of like cut and paste and put together and, oh, let's mix this fabric with this and do this with this. And it's like, it's almost like the same design language. And I kind of do the same thing just with my brand. Of course, like this hoodie right here, like, you know, the colors are somewhat nostalgic to make you think of, oh, okay, DHL finna send me something. You get what I'm saying? Like, a lot of stuff I do is like, I try to bring a certain nostalgicness to it, to where it's like, you know, one thing I learned of working in luxury, like just selling jewelry, because, you know, just selling jewelry, you know, 9 times out of 10, nobody's just coming in spending money. So you got to make your customer feel not only wanted, you got to want them to feel appreciated, but you also got to make them feel like, man, this just made me feel like, you know, this just made me feel like $1 million, right? 9 times out of 10, whenever somebody's buying anything of a high price point, it's either they're celebrating something, or they just, you know, it makes them feel good, or, you know, they kind of just got a check and they like, man, you know, I'm finna splurge real quick. So it's like, you always want to just, even like with the hats, like when I drop the colors are coming from something that's gonna make you like, you know, I might do like a black and white hat and call it like the zebra cake. Cause it's like, I want you to think about like, man, growing up, you might go to the little corner store real quick, grab your little, what's the little hug juices and a zebra cake real quick. Cause it's like, I want you to go back. I want you to time travel to a great thought, a great memory, a great feeling, to where when I put this hat on, or if I put this hoodie on, it just make me feel a certain type of way, and it can kind of take my troubles away. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me be your therapy, in a sense or whatnot. And so research, once again, I'm like I don't watch the most TV, but I know a lot of culture and knowledge when it comes to like pop culture and the popular things. So I try to like bring back those certain things, even when it comes to like how I'm shooting my lookbook. Like, you know, I want it to be like the old going down the Greenbrier flea market with the white pole. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if y'all took them old school pictures like that when you was a kid, where it's like you got your fresh J's and your jogging suit, and it's like you got like the little starry background, like backdrop or whatnot. But just bringing those nostalgicness of like what really makes you a kid again. Like, I always tell people, and I think I might have said this in a video as well too, every day or anytime I'm designing, I try to go to the 11-year-old Twon. It's something about 11, man, like was like the best time of my life. I remember this like this black and lime green Huffy bike my grandma got me, and it's like, I think that's why green is like one of my favorite colors right now. But just thinking about those memories of what makes you a kid again, like the minute your imagination goes away, the minute you can't be creative no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have like a lot of my friends who like are not in fashion, but they'll be like, man, Twon, I don't know how you think of this stuff. Like, how you just be creative like this? I'm like, for one, I like to be in the child state as much as possible. Whatever like grown toys I can get, where it's like bear bricks, or, you know, like one of my life goals is just to, when it's all said and done and I'm like a billionaire or something like that, I want to, in my career, being a Power Ranger. I just want to go save the world, okay? In a fresh suit and boots on, and you know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, just save the world, right? But anything that I can think, anytime I can go back to that memory bank is when like some of my like best designs come out, because it's just like that pure joy and that pure ecstasy. Is like, it's so much bad going on in this world, and it's like we do is like scrolling and just seeing so much negative stuff. It's like you got to figure out how to like I call it a mind mood board, like that mood board that really just keeps you on track of like a certain memory where it's like, man, oh man, this just really made. I was having a down day. I was having writer's block, blah blah blah. I couldn't think of that, but now it's like it just brought me back to life or whatnot. And that's something I try to like constantly do all the time.